Good evening. I've wanted to make this video for some time now, but frankly, I've just gotten a bit lazy. The thought of tackling this myth was driving me to drink. Mainly because I like to drink, but also because of how convoluted this story has become. If we glance into the annals of ufology, we will no doubt come across this provocative tall tale known as the Battle of Los Angeles that occurred some 68 years ago during the dawning of the Second World War. To understand the reality of the situation, we need to first understand the conditions and mindset of the population during these dark days of impending doom. Only a few months had passed since the attack on Pearl Harbor, and residents along the west coast of the United States expected they were next in line for the Mitsubishi treatment. The fact that a Japanese submarine had surfaced off Santa Barbara, California, and fired upon a fuel depot just one day prior to this incident made matters even worse. It almost goes without saying that citizens and military alike were waiting for the inevitable attack on the city of Los Angeles. Because of this eventuality, gun emplacements were thrown up with lightning speed and personnel were trained in short order. A dozen or so gun crews, green behind the gills, were chopping at the bit to get a chance at downing a Jap Zero. Thus, this was the state of things come the early morning hours of February 25th, 1942. Just after 2 a.m., a call came in of a possible radar contact off the coast, and the green alert was given. Men scrambled to their guns, and by 2:20 a blackout was ordered. After losing radar contact, searchlights began sweeping the sky, and after a full half hour of this, a report finally came in of aircraft, and a balloon with a red flare was reported over Santa Monica. At just after 3 a.m., the guns opened fire. The Battle of Los Angeles was on. For nearly an hour, batteries fired over 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft artillery, of which 8.5 tons of this shrapnel came down onto the city of Los Angeles. Now, if you're wondering what it was everyone was shooting at, you'll have to stand in line, because nobody knows what the hell everyone was shooting at. At least they didn't at the time. CBS Radio reported a blimp. A few people saw airplanes, some saw balloons, but most people said they saw nothing at all. With the moon setting at 2:30 a.m. and sunrise not until 6:30, and combined with the blackout, it was darker than a well-digger's ass out there. The only thing anyone could see was whatever the searchlights were able to find. Mostly that was smoke from the AAA bursts. Now take a gander at this very famous photo taken during the festivities. Basic science tells us that where the light beams meet, it is going to be the brightest spot around. The round shape of the light beams, when viewed at an angle, look oval, thus this oval shape we see in the photo. Now we can also see quite a few shell bursts on or near the oval smoke pattern. At least that's what a reasonable person would see. Of course, there's also the possibility that this could be a blimp or a partially deflated weather balloon. But your typical reclusive and slightly schizophrenic oddball ufologist is going to see a spacecraft with multicolored light arrays and force shields keeping the 4-foot-tall gray occupants safe and sound inside. These people still haven't figured out that the U in UFO stands for unidentified, not identified like it had the Millennium Falcon stenciled on the side of it. You can't claim it's a UFO and then claim to know what it is. It doesn't fit. No one that night knew what it was, and not one mention of it ever being a spacecraft was ever made for 40 years. Not until 3 guys by the name of Stanton Friedman, William Moore, and Jamie Shandera claimed to have gotten their clammy hands on top-secret documents. Documents revealing a signed order from President Harry Truman forming a group called the Majestic 12, made up of the usual assortment of Illuminati government, business, and military types who were charged with handling everything to do with extraterrestrial aliens. Among the tangled mess of these documents is a letter called the Marshall Roosevelt Memo from March 5, 1942. This stated that 2 unidentified aircraft were in fact recovered after the Battle of Los Angeles, one at sea and one in the San Bernardino Mountains east of Los Angeles. A PDF file of this is available for download from majesticdocuments.com. Page 1 is the document, but page 2 is an order form to buy UFO-related documents, CDs, and books. Obviously, it's not legal to distribute actual top-secret documents, and the fact that the FBI permits the availability of this and many others on majesticdocuments.com is a pretty good tip-off to the FBI's assessment of their authenticity. Now, the fact is that they have all been shown to be fake. If you would like to see the investigation into this hoax, click on the crotch link below. The flip side to this would be a 1983 historical investigative report entitled The Army Air Forces in World War II that stated the following. A careful study of the evidence suggests that meteorological balloons known to have been released over the city of Los Angeles may well have caused the initial alarm. This theory is supported by the fact that anti-aircraft artillery units were officially criticized for having wasted ammunition on targets which moved too slowly to have been airplanes. After the firing started, careful observation was difficult because of drifting smoke from shell bursts. The acting commander of the anti-aircraft artillery brigade in the area testified that he had first been convinced that he had seen 15 planes in the air, but had quickly decided that he was seeing smoke. Competent correspondents like Ernie Pyle and Bill Henry witnessed the shooting and wrote that they were never able to make out an airplane. One side note, for those who believe that a balloon would have come down or blown up at the first round of ammunition, we need to understand a couple of things. Helium was used in both weather balloons and blimps during that time, and helium is non-flammable. Second, these are not like blow-up party balloons under pressure that would pop when punctured. They were more like bags that just held the gas in place. You could put hundreds of holes into a blimp, and it would still manage to stay aloft for quite some time. Anyway, after all is said and done about this little punctuation mark in U.S. history, we are left with 2 possibilities. On the one hand, we have those who say that 2 spaceships were shot down and recovered by the military, and the government has full knowledge of it and managed to keep it all a secret for more than 40 years by retroactively changing the newspaper accounts, changing the radio reports, paying off or kill anyone who participated, pay off or kill anyone in Los Angeles who witnessed it, yet continue to allow the top secret documents about all of this to be downloadable from the internet. Or the second option, supported by evidence that doesn't require us to make any wacky leaps of logic or pseudoscientific assumptions. In my opinion, the Battle of Los Angeles was simply a case of jittery nerves, at a time when every single person in Los Angeles was living in daily fear for their lives from imminent Japanese attack. Of course, you can believe what you want, but where the rubber meets the road, the claims for alien spacecraft is a losing proposition. This is Super Soylent, and thank you for watching.